We are well into the Football Manager 23 cycle, and some of you might be getting a little bit of fatigue with your current save. I'm going to show you how you can freshen that up today by jumping into your under-21s and actually doing things properly. Stick around to the end because you're going to learn quite a few tips in this one. So as always, we're going to start off nice and basic, and then we'll get into more advanced things as we get along. The first thing is the under-21s and the under-18 tabs. Now, they're not even here, and I don't like that. The development center kind of holds everything locked in here. There is a way to change this, and we'll start off with that right now. Okay, really simple. Staff, responsibilities, and we're going to choose these three sections down here. So let's start off with training. For the under-21s, we've assigned that to the under-21s manager. We'll take control of that one, and we'll take control of that one, and we'll take control of that one, and confirm it. And as you can see, under-21s and under-18s will pop up on the left-hand side. After that, we're going to come down to tactics and do exactly the same. We can't provide the team selection advice. Now, this is the one thing Football Manager has to add. We should have the option to go into your under-21s and tweak things. We can do opposition instructions for both the under-21s and the under-18s. We're going to confirm that one also. And then the final section is going to be match. Same process. We're going to come down to touchline instructions, take control, lead team talks, take control for the under-21s, and then the same for the under-18s. So we're going to click on that and click on confirm. So as mentioned, once you've done those three things, you'll have these extra tabs popping up on the side. Now, we're not going to focus on under-18s today. This video is solely for under-21s, but whatever I tell you is relatable for the same team. So what I like to do is take the under-21s and we're going to drag him all the way up to squad because he's going to be a very important part. And when you click on it, it brings up a whole new area of Football Manager. All these separate tabs down here linked to the first team squad. With under-21s, you will find that they're all within this one little button here. And even that was hidden in Development Center. And all of these will link to your under-21s. Very, very important to monitor them properly. So let's give you a quick overlay of these top ones. If you come onto Dynamics and click on Hierarchy, it will indeed give you the hierarchy of the under-21 squad, which is important if you're going to be doing this properly, doing the tactics and managing the training to understand how it works. Tactics, this is a huge area with under-21s. You can essentially create the tactic you want them to play. And it is all linked within the first team squad. So if the tactics for your first team is the red arrows, for example, this 4-3-2-1, we come into the under-21s and go to tactics. They are already programmed to do that tactic. So essentially for the first team, we are training them in readiness to step up when they're needed. And then the rest of the tactical information is exactly as you'd see in the first team squad, but they're all under here. Corners, free kicks, throw-ins. You can go in and tweak and change whatever you want there. Opposition instructions. As we've selected that we're going to be in charge of that, there's something we can now do in terms of our role as the proper manager, but also the under-21 manager. Now, the next tab is the most important in my opinion, and that is training. When you come into here, and particularly mentoring and individual. So individual, we're just going to have our under-21s in here now. Everyone else is gone. We're going to forget about those. And sometimes you can assign this to your under-21 manager and put a nice little structure of coaches in there. But I like to take advantage and do it myself. So let's take one player to kind of show some structure. We got Carney, who's a central midfielder who came from Aston Villa in the summer. Probably a Wonderkid. He's not titled here as a Wonderkid, but he is fantastic at 18. We come back into the under-21s, go into training. I'm going to go now to individual to find Carney. And he's all the way down the bottom by here. We're going to look at this player and work out exactly where we want him to play if he does step up into the first team. And the one that jumps out to me is his best role here as a Mizala. He is very good physically, decent mentals, and technically he's good in the right areas. The one area I'd want him to develop is his vision. We're talking 11, and if he's going to be playing a more advanced role, that's something we want to work on. So as always, we come into his player, we look at the best role to train him on, which we don't agree with that one. So this is my assistant manager or the manager of the under-21s who've chosen that. We're going to step in and put him in as a Mizala on attack, as that better suits him. And as an additional focus, we're going to look at vision. which for this particular area comes under passing. We've got 3 nice areas of passing, technique and vision. They will all get done and dusted, and we can even discuss new traits for your under 21. So for passing, I love tries killer balls whenever possible. Sorry mate, but we're definitely doing it because that's one of the best traits you can have in Football Manager. So as opposed to this guy training as an advanced playmaker and forgetting about him in the under 21s, I've now set a formal training strategy for our under 21. Carney is now going to develop exactly as I want and how I need it. Okay, moving on from training into the medical center, and this would be exactly the same as you'd have over here, but they're just tabbed slightly differently. We can come in and look at all our under 21s and where they're struggling to obviously give them a little bit of downtime. Next one along is report, and this is a lovely way to find out how good your under 21s are. Let's not forget, these boys are in a proper league. This isn't Mickey Mouse football. They are up against Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Spurs, in a very competitive league. And to find out how good your under 21s are, you can quite simply go into comparison to find out under all these different categories, and I suggest you jump into them all yourself to see where your strengths are to develop your under 21s coming through. This is a really nice area, and we can even find out how good this under 21 squad actually is. Now, current ability is great, but what we want to find out is the best potential ability, like how good are these going to be in the future. And when you look around here, you can see defensively, Levi Colwill is going to be amazing. But aside from that, there's not many very good defenders there. So that is an area I feel that we could improve with Chelsea. Is going to get a few decent under 21 centre-backs all right. And then the next notable one along is fixtures. And this is one we're going to jump into a little bit more in a second in a separate tab, because this will play a vital part in how you manage the under 21s. And the final one is staff. Now this is incredibly important and gets overlooked an awful lot. This is completely different to the normal staff tab. If you come in here and you've got your ratings for the highest and the lowest, that is just your first team. And there's, obviously really talented staff there. The under 21s, you don't necessarily touch. I think you should, in terms of my own opinion. Like, we're looking here at just the under 21s. The recruitment team, you don't need anybody. That all filters down through the first team. We've got 1 physio and no sports scientists, so that needs to be improved, and we can get 1 more coaching as the under 21s team to improve what we've got here as a setup. So that's something else we're going to do to improve the under 21s and manage this team properly. Okay, so we've gone through all the tabs here, and the 2 ones that stuck with me are the team report and finding some weaknesses. So we're going to go shopping for some centre backs and set up some scouting reports to support that going forward, and then the fixtures tab. So let's start off with the scouting first of all. We're going to come down here, and as this is a new game, the 27th of June, nothing has been set up. So we're going to come up to recruitment focus, and we're going to set up some recruitment focuses for the centre backs. Now, as this is going to be for our under 21s, you can drop this current ability all the way down to the grey stars. I don't care if there's a 15, 16-year-old there. I just want them to have decent potential. And Levi was kind of rocking a 4.5 star, which is very high, but we're going to do minimum 4. And the age is very important here because it's under 21s. You can have a few above 21s, but they are capped. So we're going to say 19 just to play it safe. So we've got a bit of time for development. We're going to suggest any area, and we're going to say ongoing. So with the under 21s, you're not necessarily governed by a transfer window because you can pick them up and put them in a development process. As far as I'm concerned, if they're already with a club, they're still in that development process. So we're going to leave it as ongoing and click on confirm. So we've set up a ball playing defender, centre back, up to the age of 19. We're now going to duplicate that for the other roles. Okay, I've done the right back, inverted wing back, and what I should say now is that links directly to the tactic. If you just click on the position you want, it will go to the one that is loaded. If, for example, there's 2 and 3, it will always be the first main one here. What I would always do is click on recruitment focus and just do a generic one for any position up to the age of 19, as mentioned, with a super high potential. Maybe 4.5 will do to keep it realistic, and we'll drop that down a little bit just to pick up any brilliant sort of generational talents that are out there that can play anywhere on that pitch. Personally, I would do them for every role if I'm being honest, but we'll confirm that for now. And that is it for your scouting. That is a lot of the foundation work there to set up to improve your under 21s going forward. Now, don't forget, you're still going to be managing the first team squad. You could even come into here and look at the under 21s you've got and who's maybe not going to factor as part of your first team and drop them down. You are going to end up with some unhappy people. Now, Familia Castillo, who is injured and is out for 7 months, we're going to forget about him. But if, for example, Anurin, who is out on loan, was still at the club, we could drop him down to the under-21s and he would factor down in this area. The final area to manage your under-21s properly and to see how they're properly developing is in the fixtures tab. Now, for the friendly matches, you can attend them by clicking on this button or selecting up here to choose no action, scat the match or attend the match. But what you'll find in the staff responsibilities for the match is that the under-21s are led, and this is hard-coded, by the manager, so we cannot touch that. In terms of the under-21s proper normal games, we are involved, but for the friendly matches, I'm afraid we're sitting well and truly on the sidelines and we can't do anything. So we'll go through these games. We won't attend them, we're just going to skip through them, and then for the first game, the Everton under-21s, I'm going to show you the sort of involvement you can have in an under-21s football match. But before that, there's one more tip I'm going to show you, and that is in the staff tab in responsibilities. Come down to match, and this is where you can help the first team in the under-21s, and that is by clicking on automatically make unfit first team players available for this team. We'll confirm that. It will help us develop the unfit first team as well as improving the quality of under-21s. So we're going to zip forward now to the Everton under-21s game to show you the type of involvement you can have in an under-21s football game. And if you don't know how to do that, it's simply on the calendar here, click on the date, drop down, go on holidays. Incidentally, once you've added these under-21s, you'll notice that the games are put into the calendar, which is brilliant to see. Let's go on holidays to that date and jump into that game. Okay, we're back for game day, and I'm going to show you why this is such a brilliant feature of Football Manager. You're managing Chelsea, you're in Football Manager 23, and you are hating life because everything is bad around you. We are bottom of the league and the team is terrible, but you come into the under-21s and you go to past fixtures, and well, things are very rosy indeed. 14-13, each of these games took about 9 hours to watch, no doubt, goals galore. But here we are here for the Everton under-21 game, which we're going to attend, and I'm going to show you how you have a lot more control over how this team plays. As previously mentioned, if it was the staff in charge, we would have no control who's going on that pitch, what they're playing and what they're doing. Now we can go into tactics and we can literally choose the team that is going onto that pitch. I know I've selected selection advice and arguably the assistant managers, but we can make changes and bring on whoever we want to start that game. As you scroll down through the squad, which as is Chelsea is a lot of scrolling, you will see 021, and now that is basically all the players that are available for the under-21s who are not fit, and we can play them in the team. Now, if you were to choose loads of them, it would basically kick off saying that, no, there's too many, you can't do it. But we'll start Pulisic, and you can see he's put in this brighter colour because he is over 21. Pre-game, the other thing you can do is go into opposition instructions, I should say, and we can go through and choose exactly what we want to do. So, for example, for the right back, if you want to go in hard on him and tight mark him, we can do that, which we wouldn't have had any control of if we were just letting this to their own devices. This is the perfect option for anybody out there who is a massive control freak. So with the team sorted, we're up against Everton. This is the bit where we kind of have to sit back and just enjoy the game, to be fair. And as we come into game day, it's very much TV mode. There's minimal options of what you can do. We can click on match preview, we can choose kickoff, and then we can look at the different camera angles that we want to choose. But really, we're just sitting back doing nothing right now. This is all the options you have. There's no touchline shouts. We're pretty much relaxed and we can do whatever we want. And are we going to go up 1-0? We're not. But for me, again, being the control freak, it's nice to spot the talent. If you've got that wonder kid that you signed and he's not ready for the first team, it's this boy up top, and we're thinking, how is he going to settle in? What a really nice way to test and tweak it in the under-21s in a relatively safe environment. And look at that, Dadro Fofana. He's clearly very good at the back post, charging in with headers. Great start. So let's jump to the end of this game then to kind of pull together some bits of how we've done. As you can see, we've gone 2-0 up again. Chukwuemeka into Pulisic, who's struggling in the first team, but the under-21s, a set-up, Chucky boy, get in there. But let's get to the end of this game. Okay, game's over, and I'm not going to lie, I feel more attached to these under-21s than the actual proper team. We battered Everton 5-0, and it was so nice seeing the youngsters on the pitch running around. Players that really I don't know anything about, like Harvey Vale has had a stormer, 7.5. Carney, this boy is going to be an absolute star, rocking up with an 8.8. I want to develop him as good as I possibly can, and this is going to be the way to do it, by getting involved with the actual games. We're never going to be able to manage the under-21, so to speak, but with the fact that we can control the training, we can control the players coming in through our scouting reports, and the tactics they're going to play and the people who go onto that pitch, by having a much greater say in who's going to be developing and coming up to the first team. Let's actually take a look at the scouting to see if anybody has been suggested so far in terms of right back or ball playing defender, somebody that is going to sit in the under 21s and be relatively happy. So let's start off with a right back, inverted wing back. We've got 11 in progress. Anybody maybe rocking an A? C is the best, which is Finn Stevens, who's 19 years old. He's decent, plays for Brentford. We had him on Swansea. He didn't even factor because of the database update. He's come in there, ball playing defender. We've got Scalvini, who's 18, who we all know about. He would be amazing, arguably in the first team, but he would sit in the under 21s as an absolute baller, wouldn't he? If this suits your way of playing Football Manager, developing youth, it is a really essential part of getting involved, and we've only scratched the surface. Under 18s is another level. Like Lewis Hall, who has played quite a few times for Chelsea in the real world, we could be developing him in the under 18s, and that's not something we've looked at. Like Lewis, for example, we can promote him quite easily to the under 21s, which means now we've got an added bonus. We've got him in the team as well. So I hope you enjoyed that one. A little bit different. It's more of a deep dive into the under 21s without doing the individual development. It's setting the structure of your game so you can see a lot more and have a lot more involvement in their development. If you did enjoy that, check this one out next, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.